Hello and welcome to our daily general election roundup, final one of the week, and well, it's sort of as you were in terms of the election campaign. We're not getting any massive surprises coming out from any of the parties at the moment. The polling data, the latest YouGov poll for the Evening Standard has just come out, and that's showing the Labour narrowing the Conservative lead, so they're narrowing the gap up 4 points from last week. The Tories still looking pretty good, though. I think the YouGov poll had previously showed quite a gap, a wider gap than some of the other polls had shown. So it needs to be taken, seen in the broader context of all the polling data that we've got, and I think that's the key thing here, not to focus too much on any one poll. And look at the sort of consistency of the polling figures, which still show the Conservatives with a 10-point lead. The Britain Elects, the aggregator service suggests that the Conservative lead is just fractionally below 10 points now, so it has come down a touch, no doubt about that, but still looking at that sort of 10-point level. And remember, a 6-point lead at a national level, we believe would be sufficient for the Conservatives to win a majority. Cable is off a little bit today. Obviously, the pound is the big market to trade for this one. Just coming off this morning to around one spot 31.20, just below one spot 31.15. It's come up a bit again, tracking at one spot 31.30 there. Maybe just a bit of a pullback. We saw very, very quiet trading overnight in Asia, very, very range bound, but it consistently driving higher. The trend, if we look at the trend, is still pretty decent trend here that we've got on the 1 hour chart. We're just coming into that 50 period moving average of that 1 hour chart, but still consistently pushing higher. And then on the 2 hour, we can bring it up actually on the 4 hour chart there as well, we're just seeing a bit of a pullback. We've seen the RSI just come back down on the 4 hour as well. So and on the daily, there's a possible divergence on that 14-day RSI, but a bit of a pullback to be expected. We've had quite a ramp up, so pullbacks will be expected. Key thing is whether or not we get a push on up to that May peak at one spot 31.75. That's the big level to take out for the bulls. If they fail to do that in before the election, in the next couple of days, couple of sessions, then we could be pulling back a bit further. But I think the market is pretty well convinced that the Conservatives have this in the bag. So there is a risk, of course, if there is a surprise on the night, then the pound will be moving quite sharply. We are expecting heightened volatility on the night in GBP, crosses, gilts, UK assets in general. So it is important to maintain your margins in order to maintain positions, as things could get quite dicey. Otherwise, on the campaign trail, we're looking at the big news is really Andrew Neil's challenge to Boris Johnson to go for a face-to-face election, a face-to-face interview, which Boris Johnson is studiously ignoring. I think he sees the benefits to not being under the microscope as outweighing any sort of drawbacks from the criticism of not turning up to an interview. So at the moment, that's probably the main talking point, but by and large not having a material impact on the election as we speak. So cable trading 131.30, bit of a pullback, maybe looking for a push higher later in the session. Thanks for watching.